What's going on, guys? Welcome to Dime Dropper, episode 11 of our 24-minute recaps. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe on YouTube at Dime Dropper Podcast. Make sure to follow us on social media at Twitter and Instagram at Dime Dropper Pod. And make sure to also follow us on Spotify and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. So for tonight's episode, it's going to be a shorter one. There were a lot of games, but I could only get to so many, and those were the ESPN games tonight, the Celtics and the Heat, and the Clippers and the Warriors. Tomorrow will be a more feature-length recap with the games of tonight, the Suns, the Hawks, and the Wizards. I will probably be doing that after Inside the NBA tomorrow, likely, because I do love watching the guys. But let's get into tonight's event, starting with the Clippers just coming off a big win, a bounce-back victory, 108-101 against the Warriors, who had won 2 games in a row. I have to say, it wasn't the prettiest of games, but these are the type of games that I love for my team to win, the games that aren't easy, the games that you're just going to have to go a little bit of that extra mile, dig a little deeper, the shot's not falling, the offense isn't flowing the best, but you come out and still get the win anyway. And it was from the start, the Clippers' defensive intensity, you couldn't complain about really tonight at all, especially the way we were guarding Stephen Curry. Every single pick and roll, throwing 2 at him. And Ibaka was doing such a great job of going out to the perimeter and not letting Steph turn the corner. And then the main guy we really have to shout out, you'll never realize his impact from this 2 of 8, 1 of 5 from 3 stat line. Patrick Beverley's off-ball defense on Stephen Curry tonight was nothing short of a hound. Sublime, unbelievable. And honestly, I don't even think Steph Curry had that bad of a game. I just think this is what's going to happen. He was still making some really good reads out of the traps and still, picking his spots and not forcing it too much. He only ended up 5 of 17. It looks awful, but I think it's mostly because of the way we defended him. And Pat Bev was always in his grill. And, of course, we have a lot of long guys that can switch on him, too. So when we had more versatile lineups like in the start of the game, we had guys like Nick Batum, who, again, a nightly occurrence of just talking about how great Nick Batum was in the game. It's just a nightly thing now. I mean, getting his hands on the ball, playing the passing lanes. He's so long, he can, get over screens, as I say so many times. Gets over screens and it's no difference. And the corner 3, 2K, you better update that badge, get him that corner specialist, because that left corner 3, 2 big ones again to end the game, just like we saw against Phoenix. But Batum's defense, awesome again. He just does the right things on a basketball court. And he finished with 13 points, 4 of 9, 3 of 6 from 3, 5 boards. Doesn't get better than that. But yeah, our defense was really good. First quarter was only 21-15, but then we got sloppy in the second quarter, and it was the bench of the Warriors without Steph Curry in the game that got him back into it. And it was the only guy that can create shots, as we've talked about on Dime Dropper, Eric Paschall. Everybody else is a little bit limited when it comes to creating for that Warriors team in that second unit. And Paschall was taking advantage of us, unnecessarily switching small guys onto him. And yeah, just late rotations, and they started to crawl back into the game because Kawhi and PG were having a stinker in that first half. And by the way, we got to give a shout out to Kawhi, even with the quad injury. All my little troll Laker fans, load management. Well, guess what? Tonight he proved he could still play a back-to-back, and I think this got to be a shout out to the coach, because Glenn Rivers used to be really used to, he didn't want to risk it. He was always like, it's most importantly is going into the playoffs healthy. Well, Ty Lue's like, we're not trying to drop 2 games in a row. We're trying to keep the momentum going. Kawhi, you play tonight. And I love that Kawhi said, I'm down. I thought it was only a precautionary measure because I thought Paul George was going to play and Kawhi was going to sit. The fact that we could get everybody back tonight, including Morris, who gave us some, looked like he hadn't skipped a beat in terms of offense in that second unit, coming in and hitting some open threes and, pulling up for that mid-range that he loves. 4 of 9 from Marcus in 18 minutes, 12 points. So that was great to see. But my player of the game tonight, even though we went down 6, because, the Warriors, you got to give the Warriors credit because they fought and their defenses looked, because we've been covering them here, their defenses looked so much better since that third game of the season against Chicago. And it really starts with Andrew Wiggins. I think you guys were watching tonight, Clipper fans. Look at the job he did on Kawhi Leonard tonight. The guy's been really good defensively since that, just really good in general. Again, Andrew Wiggins tonight, making some tough shots off the dribble on Kawhi, really taking that challenge. He was 8 of 12 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, 19 points. Andrew Wiggins, I thought, was really solid. Kelly Oubre continues to struggle from distance. He does do the other things well, like play defense, continues to fight, continues to get some steals. But Kelly, he's got to chill with the threes a little bit. 8 points, 4 of 13, 0 of 6. Didn't have a great game tonight. Kind of returned back to his broke ways. But he's just really struggling shooting the ball, and I think he needs to chill. I also think that Draymond, who wasn't too bad tonight, but the thing is, against these better teams, Draymond Green's gonna need to be a threat at least. A lot of times I saw him swinging that extra pass to Kelly Oubre when it's like, dude, at this point, he's not much of a better shooter than you are. Like Draymond, here's the thing. I expected the Warriors to be a first round exit, 7th, 8th seed kind of team. And that's what I think they're going to be, regardless if Draymond hits open threes or not. But if they want to have any chance of competing against any teams like us or the Nuggets or the Jazz or, those type of teams in the playoffs, Draymond needs to be a threat to score the ball offensively, not just create. And yeah, I think we did a great job of keeping the team in check, and Steph could not get that assistance to score tonight outside of Andrew Wiggins. And the Clipper defense was great, and a special shout. Obviously, I thought Kawhi, even though his offense was slow and he got really going in that second half and that fourth quarter, that's exactly what we talk about with AD and LeBron. They sometimes can cruise in games, but to end games well. And Kawhi and Paul George really ended the game attacking the basket, which is exactly what I preach on this show all the time. Stop settling. It's 2021. The game is softer than it's ever been. Get to the rim. And Paul George and Kawhi nearly dunked on some fools late in that game. Kawhi was getting a little pissed off because Draymond had a pretty hard foul on him. But I thought Kawhi, overall this whole season, has done a really good job with some weak side rotations, getting his hand on guys going up around the rim, getting some nice strips and blocks right around, blindsiding guys when they're right about to go up. He's been getting them on that weak side rotation. He got a couple more strips tonight. He got a block and steal, but he turned the ball over too much for me. 7 turnovers for Kawhi, but ultimately he had 15 points in the second half, and Paul George had 16 points in the second half, which led us to victory like the Stars do. Steph Curry didn't have another star he could go to offensively when it came to scoring. We did. Paul George, despite the 5 of 15, he did what was needed to win the game, and a huge 3 when we were down 6 in that fourth quarter to cut the deficit in half. Also, shout out to Kennard, who made a big shot as well after that. But 2 guys I'm a little concerned about, Lou and Zoo. Lou, because he's just looking like this is the first year of his decline. Like, he's just tough to play sometimes. And Zoo, because as I said in the preview, I need to go find that clip, but he just looks a little out of sorts on the bench. And it's going to be tough because I think Ibaka can play off the bench, but I think Zoo needs to start. But I think Ty Lue is very set in his ways, with Ibaka spreading the floor, and the athleticism and length that we have with that 5 and the starting lineup is really good. So I don't know. It's really tough decisions for Ty. But ultimately, we got the win tonight. Kawhi Leonard, 21 points, 7 of 12 in the end. He had a decent percentage, but still he looked a little like, I can see why he doesn't play back-to-backs. My player of the game, though, tonight, gentlemen, was Serge Ibaka. 5 of 13 from the field, but 12 and 14 rebounds. He was dominating the glass, but mainly the amount of shots he changed underneath the basket, whether it was, he only had 1 block, but the shots that he affected, the contesting, getting out to shooters, putting up contests on those shooters, going out and guarding Steph Curry with Patrick Beverley, trapping him at the top. He was just taking care of everything for me tonight. He hit a big 3 at the second, I think it was the second half. He hit a nice 3. And overall, Serge was just great tonight. He bounced back. He was finishing around the basket and just doing everything that was needed to win. And Serge Ibaka was my player of the game for the Clips. Great win, 6-3. We move on to the next game against the Warriors. Hopefully we can sweep these motherfuckers and go back down to the best part of California, right back where we belong in SoCal. Anyway, great win, great night for your boys since the Clips won. Let's go to the other game we had tonight, which was the rematch of the Eastern Conference Finals, which was a fantastic series last year as far as glorified summer league is concerned. Celtics and Heat. The Heat have started the season a little slow. Jimmy Butler's been hurt, but him and Jason Tatum were going at it tonight from the start. But the Celtics, unlike their first couple of games, started with a lot better energy in this game, because I think that they couldn't take their opponent for granted, because these are the guys that knocked him out. And Jason Tatum really set the tone offensively, aggressive to the basket, hitting his threes, and nobody besides Jimmy Butler could really get much going offensively for the Heat. And the Celtics defense was really good, and they were making some shots. Tice started making some shots as well. But as the game went on, it was really, Celtics really kept the Heat at bay in that first half. But in the second half, Celtics started out a little stagnant offensively in that third quarter. Heat started playing Heat basketball, moving the ball, getting good shots. Bam Adebayo, I thought, was great. I mean, he just keeps improving every year, doesn't he? His ability to bring up the ball, like, just like Jokic, like they both are centers that like they get the ball and they don't even look at their point guards. They just bring it up themselves, which is extremely new and it's very interesting and unique to see. And Bam looks like he's gotten a little better at that mid-range jumper, which I talked about a lot in my bubble recaps. So that's a good sign for the Heat. But Tyler Hero really struggled tonight. And it seems like he's been struggling a bit this season. Correct me if I'm wrong, but 2 of 8, 1 of 5 from 3. He was the Celtic killer in the bubble. And the Celtics responded really well in the fourth quarter, especially Jason Tatum, made some big threes. Jaylen Brown, even though he didn't have his best shooting night, he stayed aggressive, found other ways to contribute. 21 points, 12 boards, 5 assists for JB, only 1 turnover. Marcus Smart also low turnover. Didn't have his best shooting night, 3 of 10, but 0 turnovers and 6 assists for Marcus Smart. Tice, 13 points, decent performance. On Tristan Thompson, I've noticed even though he does a good job rebounding, I think that his role may need to be a little limited. And it was tonight. He only played 20 minutes. But one of my friends made a good point. One of my Celtics fans friends was saying that, we might as well play Rob Williams more than Thompson because even though Thompson, he has good offensive rebounding, it's hard. The spacing gets harder when he's out there with Tice. And the guy doesn't have any lift. He has no bounce. He doesn't really affect shots at the rim. The Heat were kind of getting whatever they wanted, and teams have been able to get what they want on him in the paint. Rob Williams has a lot more bounce. And even Tice, honestly, is a better option than Thompson because he's a little quicker. He can get out to the perimeter a little bit better. And he still, I think, blocks shots or contest shots at a relatively even level. But Grant Williams was also a guy today that I thought gave the Celtics some good minutes. 28 minutes of play. He only had 5 points, but he had some great defense. Achua, though, was getting some good rebounds over him in that fourth quarter. But as the game went on, the Celtics started to pull away, started making some plays, especially Jason Tatum. But yeah, the Heat, funny thing is the Heat don't quit, and no Leaf is safe against them. And when they started going a little stagnant and settling for some bad threes. But then Duncan Robinson started hitting like he does so often, and the Celtics nearly blew the game again. But, it came down to, Dragic making that open 3, tying the game, and I still think Dragic still doesn't look 100% up to scratch. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but he was okay tonight, 14 points, 5 of 12, 1 of 5 from 3. But the Celtics, look who came to save the day tonight. Our guy, Peyton Pritchard. The kid from West Lynn for the win. My goodness. That kid has heart. And, I've been seeing it a lot, and I couldn't agree more, man. It's so sad that Tommy Heinsohn isn't here anymore because he would have loved Peyton for the effort that he puts every night, being in the right place at the right time, putting the ball in the basket, getting the Celtics a win. That's the 3rd game winner of the season for the Celtics. We had the Tatum one against the Bucks on opening night. Then we had Tatum against the Pistons, and now Peyton Pritchard. I mean, Celtics are quickly becoming one of the most exciting teams in the league in terms of how close their games are. 3-game winners, 5 games decided by last possession. Unbelievable. Big win for the Celtics. A little redemption as far as regular season is concerned. I still think the Heat are fine. I don't think it's a big deal to lose to this kind of team. They need to get their act together because I know they're more of a playoff team, but they need to try to, I think the regular season camaraderie, especially in a season like this, is big time. And they need to beat the easier teams. But the Celtics, 6-3, 3 wins on the bounce. And, if you're a Celtics fan right now, you got to love watching this because you're really seeing Tatum and Jaylen take those steps as a leader. They're growing every game. You can see the way they're commanding the game. They're, learning the trials and tribulations of a leader. You make mistakes. You got to play well for 48 minutes, but the team runs on your energy, your aggression. And Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum have aspirations to be leaders of a championship team, and they've developed together. And I think that they can fulfill those aspirations in the decade. And that's why I think the Celtics fans and the Celtic organization don't hit the panic button. Let these guys develop and blossom. Because they are so good and they have the right mindset. Let them go. Don't make a huge trade. Let this ride. And Peyton Pritchard, shout out, man, with that game winner. Big time stuff from the kid from West Lynn. Huge win for the C's. All right. That's it for me tonight. And a little early. We're going 15-minute recap tonight. Let me know what you thought. Make sure to get the feedback to me. Make sure to check out my latest episode series. Is the NBA getting better and better? Worked my dick off on it. So please go check it out. I beg you. Anyway, that's all for tonight, folks. Now we go to the live subscribers, the 41 waiting so patiently in the live chat. We'll be back tomorrow with recaps of the TNT games, Lakers, Spurs. I don't know. I think it's Nets, Sixers. And also the Wizards Sixers tonight alongside Suns Raptors, and Hawks losing their third in a row. I am very disappointed about that. That they're losing these games to these weak teams. But that's all for me, guys. Thanks for joining me. Peace. All right, suckers, what's going on, boys? What do you think of my Warriors, bro? I think your Warriors are straight. MJ Robinson. Morris off the bench is scary. Drop the video a damn like. My boy Random Man. My ass forgets to do super chats again. Show of hands. Who wants Lakers versus Celtics? You mean the rivalry that isn't a rivalry anymore? Brent, trust me right here when I say this. Celtics fans are not nearly as toxic as Laker fans. Like, they're not in the same stratosphere. Now, when they talk about Boston sports or the Pats, different story. But Celtics fans are not nearly on the delusion level. Go Clippers. Clippers, any thoughts? Great win, man. Happy night for me. Yes, sir. I know you like Tyrese Halliburton a lot. He hit the dagger 3 and finished 14 points tonight. Good thing didn't play a team that I'm worried about tonight, a dime dropper team, right? I think good thing didn't play a dime dropper team tonight. Yo, Dime, what's your favorite Clippers season? Wait until our offense gets good. What's my favorite Clippers season? Wow, that's a tough question. I want to say 2012. Least heartbreaking, great regular season. Yeah, I would say 2000. Great series win, great series in general. So I would say 2012 was my favorite. Yeah. Thoughts on how let's see. Just want to say I'd run through a wall for Pat Bev. Jesus. Yeah. Hornets versus Pelicans. I know they're not your teams, but that's must-see TV. Why is it must-see TV? Because Zion and LaMelo were playing. I didn't give two shits about them. I like the Pels, kind of, but there may be too many other games going on, man. Dime dropper teams. Thoughts on how a lot of the what's up, Luke? Thoughts on how a lot of the rookies have been integrating into the league? I think that they've been it's an underrated rookie class. I think a lot of them have been good. Similar problems, though, Lucas, that we talk about on is the NBA getting better. A lot of them don't seem like true students and savants of the game, just really talented players. And I think that's sadly going to be the case as we go on. But that's why I like Tyrese Halliburton, because he's a clear fan of the game. What do you think the Clips need to do to re-sign Kawhi? Get past the second round. And that's on him. The Celtics don't win anymore. I mean, if you consider winning championships, but like, what the hell were the Lakers winning before last year for the last 8 years? I mean, come on now. I am a diehard fan of the. Wait, time out. You're saying because the Celtics don't win anymore? What are the Clippers winning? We've done worse than the Celtics have made the conference finals 3 out of the last 4 years. The Clippers haven't made it ever. But you guys want to talk about us because it's easy targets. But that's because the Clippers just live rent-free in Lakers fans' heads, and they're too little to talk to Celtics fans because they have the same amount of rings, and they're scared because they used to get pieced back in the day. Anyway, I'm a diehard fan of the Clippers, and our combined pain earned you a sub. Thanks, Ronald. I am too. I'm a happy man because Brad Beal dropped 16. We still won. My guy 79 Steve is having too much fun with Cock Rivers right now. That don't make me happy. I don't think Draymond should have been ejected, man. I think that's a little soft going the ejection route. I think it's flagrant one. It was well called. Lou Will 3 points. I know he's got to step up. There's way more young toxic Laker fans than just about any other. Yeah, that's just facts, Chris T. LaMelo versus Lonzo. I'm sleeping. You're right. Yeah, low-key, I'm interested in that, actually. Definitely. I'm sorry about that. Kawhi needs to shoot more. LaMelo's looked very good this season. He needs to start over Devontae. I feel LaMelo does look pretty good. I like dime droppers, and he looks like one. We got our ass kicked by Peyton Pritchard, and I'm not even mad. I knew that kid was special. It also says about how I feel about the Heat this season so far. Yeah, I know. Hey, man, the Heat, they didn't hit the ground running last season too, did they, Moises? So I don't think it's too much to be concerned about. Has Hero been good, man? I'm looking at his stats over these last couple games, and it seems like he's been a little lacking. What do you think? Wow, this is the first time like I can ever say I'm at the end of the chat and you guys aren't messaging right now. Congrats, bro. Trash game. You don't like defense? Disappointed in my Heat earlier, huh? Nick Batum is a dime, bro. Nick Batum is a dime. Oh, here comes Omar Jr. Diaz. They need to leave LA. Here you go. Just because they look so rent-free. No, they don't need to get his own town. Peyton Pritchard is the clutchest. No, Jason Tatum is the clutchest player on the Celtics. Oh no, fuck cockrickers, but I'm happy we got the dub. Our first real challenge comes in our next game to games. Yo, Embiid though to start this season. What about that mentality? That's what I'm talking about. The teams that Dwight Howard, Danny Green, and JaVale McGee went to are overachieving. Just shows that those guys are the best players in the Lakers. Absolutely, Studio of Shred. Better than LeBron and AD. Melo versus Lonzo. That should be interesting. No, Hero has been off. Yeah. Hella players getting injured because of the fast. Johnny, it's not because of the fast restart. This was happening last season too. A lot of these players getting injured weren't even playing last year in the bubble. Some of them. It's a health thing. It's once again goes back to this resting stuff is not actually beneficial. It's not doing anything. The injury rate is higher than it's ever been, and it was the same last season. This is a deeper problem with what the NBA is doing and how the conditioning. I don't know what's going on with these players and their superior athleticism. I don't see any of that garbage. All I see is fragile athletes. That's all I'm seeing, and more resting. So there's people on Twitter that actually, yeah. By the way, I am sad about Markelle Fultz. That is sad. I like Markelle, and I want the best for him. Hero's not even that good so far. Outside of the 21 point, 15 rebound game, he's struggling so far. Yes, I would keep Batum in the starting lineup. Do you think the Lakers should worry with the not completely out of prime LeBron and AD that can be soft? I don't think the Lakers should worry. I think right now the Lakers are still the best team in the league, and no one is really on their level just yet. I'm loving Clippers basketball. Batum is proving me wrong. I love that guy. Same. How do you feel about the officiating this season? I've noticed they're calling a lot more fouls on the floor this year, and they're calling more offensive fouls. I think I've noticed a lot more fouls on screens, Luke. I think that it's not as AIDS officiating as the bubble, but it's still the no defense association. They don't want defense very much. A little bit of hand checking getting away with certain players, but for the most part, it's still pretty ticky-tack stuff. Rockets losing tonight? I don't know. I think it looks like what's it called? James Harden just doesn't look very invested from the stat lines in the comments. Did you hear about Trae Young's performance? No, I heard, but I need to watch. Looks like PG was on load management. Well, he played tonight and he did his thing. D, are the Knicks going to prove that in a league that doesn't play defense, you can make the playoffs by simply playing hard defense night in and night out? Ash, great question. I believe that their offense will still be lacking and they're not going to make the playoffs. But my pick of them finishing worst in the East could be way off. But then again, it's so early in the season. I feel like they could still finish. I mean, if Randall misses games. By the way, shout out to Randall, who's been absolutely killing it. Knicks winning again tonight against the scum Utah Jazz. Everybody that's a human being with a heart loves that. That's not a Utah Jazz fan. And as a Knicks sympathizer, I'm very excited to see that happen. What a start to the season for the Knickerbockers. Shout out to my boy Frazier, not having to put up with watching a crap product anymore, at least for now. Batum's production right now is insane. He was stealing money from Charlotte. Yeah, Batum has been just unbelievable. Would you let the Lakers win the next 4 chips for $1 million? Jesus, that's a great question. Honestly, no. I wouldn't take the money. I wouldn't. I don't want the Lakers win I just can't have LeBron winning the next 4 chips. If you take LeBron off and then you say the Lakers can win the next 4, it's really unbearable with the fans, but $1 million would do a lot for me right now. So, yes. LaMelo Ball came off the bench and played better than Trae. Do you think the Wizards are a playoff team? I predicted it, but I'm having more doubts as the season goes, but I have to stick with my guns, Jonah Kim. If you would you have traded for CP3 or West? Come on, Chris Paul. Oh, Chris Paul. I would give my left nut for Chris Paul. What would happen to you saying you hate that stuff and you'd be mad? Don't get so high on way off just yet. What? He played load management. First of all, Paul George, he missed the game and we won tonight. So we'll see if it's a repeat occurrence. That was the first time Paul George missed the game with supposed load management. What if he actually had a little ankle tweak? Randall was a beast. So sad to see him leave us. What will you do if the Clippers don't get past the second round? Okay. Kill myself? I don't know. What do you want? Rockets were without Christian Wood. That's why they probably lost. Wood has looked very good. I agree, Andrew. Shout out to Aaron Baines. I saw a clip of Bam dunking on him. He still has the confidence to contest dunks, even though he got dunked on many times. Lakers get Alex the Goat Caruso back. Miles Turner at 8 blocks tonight. Oh, yeah. We got to mention the Indiana Pacers, who are off to an amazing start. Malcolm Brogdon, IQ. You know why? 4 years in college or 3 years, however long he played in college. Why you don't want LeBron to win? 8 crash out. Go watch my video, Who's the GOAT? It explains why I used to be a big LeBron fan. Now I can't stand the guy. I see through all the BS now. So go watch that video. Did you hear about what Morris said? I did, man. I'm really happy to hear that. That's called sacrificing. That's what a team player needs to do. Sixers are 7-0 and Embiid, no, they're not back. Okay, better not be on other players' head. I'm gonna make sure you know. No, I am. What? First of all, Johnny, you don't have any proof that that was load management. It was listed as an ankle injury. So, and he didn't look too smooth tonight either. Do you agree that PG will be better than Kawhi? No. Sabonis is really good. Brogdon started for you. Yeah, Brogdon. I really like Brogdon and Sabonis. Almost 10 games in. Who has exceeded your expectations? Obviously, you guys, the Knicks, for sure. No, I'm not too smart to not like LeBron. And in fact, I'm smart enough to not like LeBron. Um, yeah, sorry. I see both sides, guys. I see both sides of the LeBron lovers and the LeBron haters. I've been on both sides. It's just about being objective, man. You don't need to like anybody. You just need to be objective and not have that cloud your bias. But I'm afraid that people don't see through LeBron's stuff. Go watch my episode, Who's the GOAT, though. I freaking laid it all out. Are you going to watch Space Jam 2? Jesus. I mean, I may, but that's going to be cringe as hell, probably. Anyway, LeBron's just a cringe monster. You know, he just wants to, he's so obsessed with his own legacy and wanting to be the GOAT, and that's what sickens me the most. Anyway, all right, guys, that's it for tonight. We're going to end at 26, so it'll be easier for people to watch. Be back tomorrow night after Inside the NBA. All right, Mike, awesome. Peace.